Following the conclusion of the Second World War, Chichester had a number of RAF air bases located around a little town, and they decided for one of them to create a perimeter track just off the outside of RAF West Hampnett Airfield. And sure enough, Goodwood Motor Circuit was created in 1948, and the first race happened of the same year. The man known as Mr. Pycroft, in his 2.5 litre Pycroft Jaguar, won the main event at 66.42 mile an hour. A young known Sterling Moss, however, won the 500cc class, soon eventually to become Formula 3. Tonight's drivers are in the Renault Megane, of course, and they're going to be going a hell of a lot faster than 66.42 mile an hour. For the finale of the Megane Trophy, sponsored by PowerMax Racing, here with NXTGEN, we are going to have one hell of a fight at this absolutely historic circuit. I'm sure you'll all agree. It's steeped in history, of course. Lots of numbers of events have happened. Loads of different drivers, of course, have taken part. Great champions such as Mike Hawthorne, Graham Hill had the first single-seat races at the circuit. Roger Penske, famously known for American IndyCar over in the US, of course, visited the circuit in the 60s. Jack Sears also as well, the first British touring car champion, known as the British Saloon Car Championship back in the day. They also took part here. Now, tonight's race is a little bit of let's go all out. You can see Mr. Carterboy has won the championship. He is already declared season 17 Lobby 2 champion. He sorted it all last week at Suzuka East and has been phenomenal all season. His target tonight, I'm fairly certain, is going to be to ensure that he does a whole season without finishing outside of the podium positions, if we cut back to the unique pit garage. I'm sure you'll agree, in terms of the old Goodwood circuit. But just with Shadow Stalker at the moment, it's wide as he comes off the circuit, as he goes through St Mary's Corner. He's turned himself into a bit of a lawnmower, but he's got himself back on circuit safely, and that's the main thing. There's Kyonko-chan in the Zerkotech car. There's 1805 in the Steel Seal. The qualifying session has just begun, so that's good news for all. I'll run through the championship standings though whilst we're here. Carterboy already the champion on 179 points. Second place, D Whitehouse is on 130. Zlatan is back, is on 128. 2 points between the two drivers. I'm fairly certain it's going to be one heck of a championship fight for second place. Fourth currently is Snav on 117. KZ2 Haas, who we were riding on board with earlier, he's on 114. Good fight for fourth there. They're also, ooh, that was very, very interesting what just happened there for Slow Seamus. Crikey, I've just caught the end of that. Kyonko-chan came back on circuit, not sure what happened, but there we go. He's managed to get himself going again and no problems at all. But that was good driving from Seamus to avoid that a potentially big incident on the opening lap. Sixth place in the championship, Suburtus on 94. Richard P is on 87 points and 7th. 1805 is 8th on 70. Kyonko-chan's 9th on 66. Jay Coleman back tonight. He is on 61 points. And then into the lower reaches, of course, outside of the top 10, we have NGR Danzo, who is on 68 points for some reason. I believe our title I believe the man who creates our championship standings has got Danzo mixed up. Danzo's inside the top 10 with 68. Shadow Stalker is on 52. Slow Seamus, who we're with at the moment, he's on 42 points. Greener Army on 34. DMK 80 is on 13. And Mad Marshall, who was a debutant last week, he's not racing tonight. He is rounding out the championship standings on 8 points. So most of the drivers, as a number of them go off the circuit. That's 1805 is off. Danzo was off into the weeds. He was the first one I saw. So I'm not certain what's happened there. It's not the biggest track in the world. It's only 3.5 kilometres. So it seems to be, if you look on the track map in the top right corner, there are a number of clusters going on at the moment. D Whitehouse is part of one. He's got Zlatan in the Adrian Flux car just in front of him there. Zlatan's looking for a better result after last week. It didn't go right for him at Suzuka. You know, he had a number of incidents, and he's had another incident there. He's gone off at Levant, and he finished in 9th place, did Zlatan last week, so he needs to get himself a nice result to end the season off. Danzo was 5th, obviously. D Whitehouse had a number of different accidents. That's Kyonko-chan going wide, coming out of Woodcut there, nipping themselves through the chicane. There was talk, as Kyonko-chan gets very sideways coming out of the corner, there was talk of potentially putting a permanent yellow flag in place at the final chicane because they can't get 2 cars through the corner, but in the end that didn't happen. Now, turn your attention to Tinny Tortoise CRT here at the current moment in time. He's driving DMK80's Sales I car for tonight's final round. Tinny Tortoise, he's relatively new to NXTGEN. He's the number 27 car. You can see him there coming forward towards Woodcut. Going to be fascinating to see how he gets on. Don't forget, last week we had a debutant of Mad Marshall. He took pole. Whether Tinny Tortoise can replicate that, we don't know, but we'll soon find out as he gets the chicane relatively sorted out. His first proper flying lap. He's going to set a 1 minute 19. I suspect there's more time to come from Tinny Tortoise. There's Shadow Stalker. He's inside the top 10, but Greener Hobby's ahead of him at the moment. He's got Coleman just coming up behind him as well. 6 minutes on the clock to go. We're going to ride on board with Slow Seamus then here at Goodwood as he chucks the car through into the chicane as we now head towards turn 1, known as Madgwick Corner. Here we go then. He's just set himself a personal best. He's going to attempt quicker. 5th gear corner, probably maybe drop it down to 4th, or will he keep it there? Yes, he does keep it in 5th. Back on the power, pretty easy to just hook the inside curb. This long back straight, even though it's got somewhat of a corner, it's not technically classed as one, as he goes now through Ford Water. This technically isn't classed as a corner, even though it is. Shucks the car down into 4th gear, through St Mary's on the left hand side, gets the curb, relatively decent from Seamus there. Back up into 5th, I'm assuming he'll go down to 4th, maybe even 3rd, as he goes through Levant Corner. Tricky corner this, but he gets it relatively sorted. He's hooked the inside line and the inside curb once more, as he now goes down Levant Straight. Very quick lap, as you can see. D Whitehouse has got provisional pole at the moment on a 1:11.6. 2.3 up on his lap is Seamus as he comes towards Woodcut. Another difficult double right-hander. 4th gear, keeps the car tucked in nicely. A little bit of a moment on the curb. Down to 3rd. Can he hook the chicane up? Yes. A little bit late. He's run wide. That'll cost him some time, but it'll be quicker than his 1:15. And he goes and does a 1:12. He gets himself up to 4th. That's much more representative from Seamus. He gets himself up into 4th place. Still 4.5 minutes to go. Still time for Seamus to improve. Obviously, he didn't race, did Seamus, in the last 3 events, so it's nice to have him back for the final round in the works car. Last time he did race, he finished in the pits because he didn't finish at all. He didn't finish at all, did Seamus, last time out, but he did qualify 4th at Fuji, and he had a few different incidents during that race. I remember particularly at turn 1 he got turned around and it was through no fault of his own. It was an accident. Snav is in 4th, 9/10 off the pace, takes that wider line through turn 1. There's Carter Boy in 3rd. I'm sure some of you who will be watching at the moment are fully aware of Goodwood in terms of the track. It was used at the Daily A race not so long ago for the minis. That was quite a fun event, it has to be said. A number of different combinations going on in the daily races, but Goodwood did come up 2 weeks ago, which was very fun to see. Haas is within, well, just within 3.5 tenths of D Whitehouse at the moment. There is D Whitehouse coming through the chicane. How will he get on? He runs a little bit over the curb as he comes towards the line. What's his lap? It's another 1:11.4. He goes even quicker now, extends the gap to Carter Boy, who's moved up to 2nd of that last lap. Good time from him. Just checked into the chat there, Ghost Rider CRT, good evening to you. Hope you will enjoy the racing tonight. I'm fairly certain you're going to be supporting Tinny Tortoise with the CRT name. I could just recognise that there. Carter Boy's going even quicker, the fast driver in the fast car, as he chucks the car into St Mary's. There's Haas. He's 3rd, the Garage Floor Title Company driver. Had a bit of bad luck lately as Haas. He had a wonderful 3rd place at Suzuka East, but he he was leading the whole race effectively, and then on the second to last lap, or the last lap practically, Carter Boy nipped past him, and then he had another penalty that dropped him to third in the end. So he'll be wanting to round out the season potentially with another podium. He does drive well, does Haas. He's a quiet driver compared to a number of others. You know, he gets his move done very efficiently and very quietly. And Ghost Rider CRT just confirming there. He says indeed he's supporting Tinny Tortoise. Where is Tinny Tortoise at the moment? Have a quick scan through. He's 14th at the moment. He's just gone off at turn 1. He's just gone off at Madgwick Corner. And he's about 7/10 off Greener Army. So it'll be interesting. It could be a good battle there for Tinny Tortoise and Greener Army at the moment. And they call him Grinny Army in that case. There's 1805. There's Kyonko-chan. Kyonko-chan trying to get inside the top 10. He's run very wide as he goes through Madgwick Corner. So there's Suburtis. He's inside the top 10. He got his first podium last time out at Suzuka East. He had a wonderful drive to second. And he very much deserved it. He's had a good season as Bertus. And it would be good to see him back next season in season 18, which will be starting in August, is season 18 here with NXTGEN. There's Danzo. And we've got 1805 to set a new fastest qualifying time. Something's happened between Seamus and Tinny Tortoise. We haven't seen it. Haas has done a 111.8. Let's just kick that up a few places. He's only 4/10 off Haas. There's Latan. So the top 5 in the championship are in the top 5 placings. Not exactly the same order, of course, because Carter Boy's already sorted the championship out. It's got a few other comments and things, saying Bruce saying it could be fun. I reckon this one will be fun. In Bruce's case, we're riding with a family member at the moment. He's just trying to get rid of his penalty. And Carrington, at the moment, evening Jack, how's things? Things are going well, Carrington. How's things on your side of it? How are you getting on this nice evening, to be fair? There's Seamus, 1805, just got 33 seconds left on the clock. D. Whitehouse has been effectively provisional pole for most of this session. He's got 1 lap to go. The Hampshire driver, I think that's Latan, he's just gone off the circuit. Yeah, just caught the end of that. He's pulled over. That's his qualifying done. But there's the Hampshire driver, D. Whitehouse. He's had a lot of bad luck this season, but he will no doubt want to finish the season as he started it with a race win, and at the moment he's done half the job, providing that Carter Boy doesn't go any quicker. He's 200ths down as they approach Woodcote Corner. He's gone right onto the edge of the line at Woodcote. That was very committed. Here he comes into the chicane, knocks it through, left, right, or rather right, left. Left, right as we looked at it. Here he comes towards the line. Doesn't improve, he just falls short in the end. What about Haas? He's coming through, I think he's going through St Mary's at the moment. Camera angles are particularly interesting around here, so we'll go on the exterior camera for now. As last time we already know is done. Coleman's up in 5th. It's a good showing from Coleman. Good to have him back as well for Jay Coleman. He missed last week. Obviously, Mad Marshall replaced him for that race, and Coleman has done a 12.4. He's within a second of the pole position time. That's Snav. He's on the grass. He's just let 1805 go through there. 1805's been into the wall backwards by the seams of it. You can see all the scuff marks on the back of his rear bumper. Let's see what lap time he does as he comes across the line. Danzo goes even quicker. He's got himself into the top 10, and that's a very dodgy position to be sat for the Zerkotech driver of Kyonko-chan there. But I don't think anyone is going to stop this man from getting his pole position. Just having a quick look through, everyone's effectively come through the timing now, but this man, D. Whitehouse, the Hampshire driver, is going to start from P1 exactly the way that he did at the first round at Brands Hatch. It's his 4th pole position of the season, just underlying D. Whitehouse's speed, and there it is by a 10th. Haas and Zlatan on the second row. That'll be a fun battle to see, and D. Whitehouse obviously wanting to confirm he gets that second place in the championship. Right then, here we are, the final race of the season here with NXTGEN for the Megane Trophy. Let's see how the drivers get on. We've got D. Whitehouse on the right hand side, Carter Boy on the left, 20 minutes on the right. Here come the numbers. And the race is live here at Goodwood Motor Circuit, and D. Whitehouse has got a decent start. Haas has got an even better one though. He's trying to challenge Carterboy going towards Madgefield Corner, but I don't think he's going to make it. D. Whitehouse leads, Carterboy second, Haas is third, Zlatan fourth. Coleman's gone wide, he's off the circuit. How's he going to rejoin? It's going to be very, very dicey. He's in sixth at the moment. I think 1805 and potentially Danzo are going to get past him. Snav's been boxed in, so he's lost positions too. As they head now towards Ford Water for the first time, Coleman is on the outside, Danzo's on the inside. There's contact between the two drivers. Coleman's gone off, Snav's just gone off by himself as well. Coleman's all over the circuit, slides back on. Bertus does well to not actually make a huge amount of contact. There's Tinny Tortoise, he's up to 11th, good showing so far. Kyonko-chan's down in 12th, but Coleman has dropped from 5th to 10th on the opening lap. There's Snav, there's Danzo. Bertus is up to 7th as well. There's 1805 of Seamus ahead of him. Zlatan is on the back of Haas, and D. Whitehouse is currently going to lead the first lap. I'm going to exit, I'm going to come back straight in so that we can get the different camera angles going. Just kick that forward a little bit as they come into the chicane. Carterboy was a little bit dodgy going through the corner. Let's see how we all get through these corners. There's Bertus. Oh, Danzo is backwards and round. We've just caught the end of that, and Danzo has dropped like a stone. He was in 7th, he's now 14th, so he's doubled his position. Bertus, though, in the Fuchs car, is up to 7th. Good showing. 18.05.6. That's Zlatan who's gone off. Zlatan is off at Madgefield Corner. He's going to get overtaken by 18.05 potentially. He has to cut to the inside, and he just about makes it through. Zlatan was trying to squeeze the door shut, but it didn't quite happen. Brave from 18.05, but he's got his 5th place. Good start. Seamus is up to 4th as well. Haas is there in 5th. These three have closed together already. Carterboy only half a second behind D. Whitehouse. And can D. Whitehouse take another victory this season? He's already had 2, his last one being at Laguna Seca. He's looking for a 3rd, but he's going to be hard pressed by this man, the fast car driver of Carterboy. He's right behind him currently as they go through Woodcote for the 2nd time. See how they get through the chicane. D. Whitehouse very close to clipping the wall there as they go through. There's Haas, cut back. 18.05's now got Zlatan behind him, and he's run wide, and Seamus has dropped down to 6th, and that Bertus has gone off as well. Zlatan now back up to 4th. 18.05's in 5th. There's Seamus. He must have made a mistake somewhere. He's down in 6th. Coleman's 7th after Bertus's mistake. So Coleman, after dropping to 10th, now back up to 7th. It's only took him 2 laps to get there, and he's back on the case. Bertus is 8th. Snav is in 9th after his earlier troubles when he went off the road. Tinny Tortoise is up into 10th, the debutant tonight. Shadowstalker, Greener Army. Oh, wow. Great car control from Greener Army. That was fantastic. The Dread-sponsored driver has just done Tokyo Drift through Madgefield Corner, and admittedly he's probably going to get overtaken by Danzo, which he does do, but that was fantastic car control from Mr. Army there. Shadowstalker's there in 12th. Kyonko-chan has gone off at Madgefield. There he goes, he's flashing the lights. Not sure why, maybe to let everyone know he is a lawnmower potentially, and nonetheless he's down there in 13th. So Tinny Tortoise on his debut in the Sales Eye cars, running in 10th after the first 3 laps. Good start for him. Snav is in 9th. Bertus now all over the back of Jay Coleman. And Jay Coleman's run a little bit wide. Is he going to get the move done before the chicane? Yes, Coleman, very sensible. Just backs out of it. So Bertus was already ahead of him. And Coleman is in 8th place. Bertus has got a great drive actually off the corner. He's really pulled 6 tenths already. There's Slow Seamus and 18.05 are still stuck together. Let me just see how those two get on. There's Zlatan in 4th. And there, up at the front, you can see it. Carterboy has made contact with D. Whitehouse, I think. He's all over the grass on the tarmac again, and he just gets the car stopped. Carterboy, fortunately, keeps the car on the road in terms of himself. I was about to say Haas made a mistake, because he was quite some way away from these two, but now he can use Carterboy as a springboard to get back up to D. Whitehouse again. Action all over the field. Zlatan is now 4.9 seconds off D. Whitehouse. Let's see how he gets on for the rest of the race. Seamus is there in 5th. Bertus is 6th. What has happened to 18.05? He's down in 9th. So 18.05's made a mistake somewhere, and now he's dropped like a stone to 9th place. Tinny Tortoise is still inside the top 10. He's got Shadowstalker with him. Shadowstalker looking for his 4th top 10 result this season. Going to be interesting to see how that battle develops. Got another CRT of Lucky Bucky there saying, come on, Tinny Tortoise. Lot of support for him in the group tonight. So let's see how they get on through the chicane. Taking it relatively steady with Shadow Stalker. Good exit from the CRT driver though. Manages to pull the exit on them so far. Danzo there in 12th. Kionko-chan has also made a mistake, so he's dropped right the way back. Snav is in 8th. There's Coleman. He's got Bertus in front of him. These two now in 6th and 7th places after 1805's earlier error. Just looking to see around the rest of the circuit where the battles are happening. There is obviously Shadow Stalker and Tinny Tortoise are quite close on circuit at the moment. As are Carter Boy and Haas too. Seamus, yeah, Seamus is now on his own in 5th place. Got 2.6 to Zlatan. And at the moment, Haas is now all onto the back of Carter Boy. And D. Whitehouse has made a mistake. As I say that, there's a chance. Momentum for Carter Boy. The fast driver's on the outside. I'm fairly certain he's going to be through before we get to turn 1, and he is. D. Whitehouse drops to 2nd then as a result of his mistake at the chicane. We just saw it. Just ran over the curb, and he's got to recompose himself now because Haas is right on his bumper. Haas still looking for a first win of the season, bear in mind. Right on the pace tonight as they come now through Ford Water and as they go through towards St Mary's in a moment. These three, class of the field at the moment. Just see having to look around the outside, not quite going to work through there. They will stay on board of Haas like this because you can see the different movements. He's hit the back of D. Whitehouse, and I think D. Whitehouse actually hit the back of Carter Boy as well, and he's run wide. And yes, I was going to say Haas would have to back off there because he did cause that. And good driving from Haas. I know he hit the back of him, but he did back off and say, okay, D. Whitehouse, let's regain composure, let's get time together. It's going to look to the inside though. Not quite going to happen through Woodcote. I think he'll have to slot in behind. Yes, he does. Zlatan's now catching up to these three as well because of all the shenanigans that are going on ahead of him. So how will he get on? Seamus is there in 5th. And we're trying to cut through to Coleman. There he is in 6th. There we go. Got it back now. Cerberus is 7th. Snav's in 8th as he goes wide through the chicane. Very twitchy as he went over the grass there. Danzo and Tinny Tortoise. I was just about to say Tinny Tortoise was 9th then. But he's still in the top 10. It's a good showing from him. Danzo's up to 9th now after recovering from his earlier accident. Got a bit of work to do as Danzo, but 9th place wouldn't be too bad for him at the end of the day. There's Kionko-chan in 11th. So Shadowstalker's the one who's made a mistake. Greener Army's running in 12th. I said last time at Suzuka East that Greener Army hadn't beaten any other driver on circuit this season. He's got a chance at the moment because he's driving well. Oh, as I say that, he's gone and... oh, he's just held on to it again at Madwick. He's having a few problems at Madwick, his Greener Army. Hopefully I don't curse him, so we'll come away from him. And we'll cut to the fight at the front because D. Whitehouse is pulling himself right back onto Carter Boy. 11 minutes 36 on the clock. And I suspect that there's going to be a big battle between these four. Zlatan's now back into the picture. He wants his 2nd place in the championship as they come through Madwick once again for lap 8. Cuts the outside shot. That's Haas. He's run wide. He's going to hit the wall. Surely. Yes, he does. Gets back on the circuit, but Zlatan's going to take that easily done. And Zlatan, after making an unseen error, is back into 3rd place. So D. Whitehouse has got a chance now to get onto the back of Carter Boy without having to worry about who's behind him. There's Zlatan. There's Haas after his mistake. There's Seamus. Coleman. That's Bertus who's gone round. He's come off the road. He's got himself back onto the circuit, but Madwick corner seems to be the corner that's causing problems for everyone. Danzo now is in 9th. And that's Carter Boy. He's gone off. Carter Boy's gone off somewhere. He's down to 4th. What has happened to Carter Boy? He's clearly made a mistake at Levant corner. You can see the damage on the inside of his car there. He's been scuffed. And D. Whitehouse is back into the lead. He's got 1.5 over Zlatan, who must be rubbing his gloves together at the moment because he's thinking, I've not overtaken anyone and I'm up to 2nd. Haas is 3rd. He's run very wide out of the chicane. He gets away with it. Carter Boy, an unseen error, an unknown error from Carter Boy, and he's in 4th now. He's got work to do. He's got half the race to go if he wants to maintain his all-podium finishing streak. There's Seamus in 5th. Coleman's 6th. Snav, after his earlier exploits, is in 7th. Bertus is down to 8th after spinning off at Madfield. He's got wide at Woodcote again. Gonna have to be careful. He's got very sideways through the chicane. He's going to have to recompose. He's clearly gone into the wall hard backwards. Danzo's there in 9th. Tinny Tortoise, still 10th. Still inside the top 10 for the CRT group. Good showing from him. There's Kyonko-chan. I suspect there could be a battle between those two coming up shortly. 1805 now up into 12th. Shadow Stalker just behind him. 1805, who was running 5th earlier, is down to 12th now. So Goodwood clearly catching a number of drivers out. I think everyone on the grid's made a mistake. And as I say it, 1805's run off the road again. And Shadow Stalker takes his position back. He's up to 12th. Just have a quick cut through the field. Oh, there's contact potentially up the road because Haas and Zlatan are very close. I say contact, they were actually a lot further apart than I thought they were on the map, but nonetheless, Haas now looking to get himself up into 2nd. D. Whitehouse has got himself a bit of a gap now at 2.6 seconds roughly. Can the Hampshire driver keep up his good form as they come through Ford Water once again? Zlatan just keeping Haas at bay for now. Will ride on board with Haas. In the meantime, Zlatan on the grass there as they go through St Mary's, really pushing the car to the limit. These Meganes will take the Goodwood circuit to its limit, that's for certain. They're very hard pushed round here. Carter Boy is catching these two, it has to be noted. He's now only 1.9 behind, so this could become a three-way scrap for 2nd. Haas closing. Is he going to look? And he does, but he doesn't go for it. Sensible driving. He's run very, very wide, though, through Woodcote. That's not going to help him. Chucks the car in. Right, left. Easily done. Gets a little bit on the gravel. I've noticed that a couple of drivers are going onto the gravel through the chicane. It's just going to sap the momentum for the drivers as they go through there. They've got to be careful of that. They don't get dragged into the barrier. Carter Boy's there. There's Seamus having a pretty lonely race. Although I say that, he's made a few mistakes recently on the last couple of laps of Seamus. Nothing major, but Coleman is... That's lag, actually. I thought Seamus had just gone straight off the circuit, but no, he's fine. He's still going. Coleman's in 6th. Snav is in 7th. Bertus is in 8th, getting very... That's Danzo, who's gone off at Woodcote. He's gone off very early before the chicane. Tiddy Tortoise is still in the top 10 though. He's still there and he's going to be closing the gap. He's just set a personal best. Has Tinny Tortoise. That's Shadow Stalker going wide. He's going to hit the wall. Yes, he does. So, Shadow Stalker hits the wall after having set a personal best of a 14. Kyonko-chan also setting a 14. Runs very wide at the exit there. Tinny Tortoise, best laps in the 15s currently, so he's just got to keep his consistency because everyone else is making mistakes around him. 1805, you can see his potential pace there on the 12.7, but he's not quite there. And Greener Army's in the 14s and the 15s as well, so positive progress for Greener Army. There's Bertus still, will cut back to the group at the front because this is where all of the other half of the action's going on. Haas is now clawing onto the rear wing of that Megane of the Adrian Flux driver of Zlatan. Is there enough room? Zlatan defends, going through Ford Water. Another cutback. Very twitchy, very dodgy. But Haas remains behind them through St Mary's. Clips a lot of the curb. Gets away with it. And they are catching D. Whitehouse at this point as well. Haas, obviously, with the fastest lap of the race so far on 11.2. This is going to be very interesting to see how these last 6 minutes play out. Just cut through to the external camera there. 11.9 from Zlatan last time out. 12.2 from D. Whitehouse. So not slow by any means. He's got to be careful. That's Haas off. Haas is into the wall. He's hit the wall. Where's Carter Boy? He's not quite close enough. Will he get enough momentum coming out of the chicane? He will do because Haas has turned into a lawnmower. That's... Ooh, I thought Haas was going to rejoin dangerously then, and he did slightly, but Carter Boy, being the driver that he is, he's been fantastic all season and gets round Haas and is on for his podium again. 5 minutes to go now. Zlatan got the gap to 1.6, so let's see what he can do with 5 minutes remaining. I'd say there's enough time for potentially 4 laps. laps, maybe 5, depending on where you are on circuit. There's Carter. Haas hasn't lost as much time as I thought he had, actually, because of that incident. He's only half a second behind. He's going to have to use Carter Boy again. That's Greener Army who's gone into the sand pit, effectively, over on the Levant corner at the moment. Seamus is running well. I think this is probably, at the moment, where he's going to stay. I don't know if he'll move any further forward than that. Coleman in 6th, Snabs in 7th. These three having a pretty lonely race now. As Burtis, Shadow Stalker, we cut back because Tinny Tortoise has obviously dropped it somewhere. He's down to 12th. And he's going to have to be careful because 1805, who's having a very topsy-turvy race at the moment, is not too far behind him. Not sure what happened. He'd been putting in a good showing at Tinny up until that point, but he's still in 12th. He's not last, and that's the key thing. Greener Army's made a mistake on the last couple of laps, so he's dropped away from everyone now. Kyonko-chan's 11th, Danzo's 10th. Shadow Stalker on for a season best 9th. That'd be a fantastic result for him. And he did a 13.6 last time out, did Shadow Stalker. Good showing from the Geissen driver. Speaking of good showings, Carter Boy's got himself back into business again. He's 1.1 behind Zlatan now, who's dropped away a little bit from D Whitehouse on that last lap. D Whitehouse half a second quicker, and now we've got the traffic jam. Danzo getting well out of the way. He's not interfering with the lead battle at all. We'll go exterior camera. We've got Zlatan there. He's going to come up towards Danzo. By the time we get into the chicane, a little bit of lag going on. Danzo's run wide through Woodcote. I think Zlatan might lose a touch of time here. Oh, Danzo's at the wall as he went through. Carter Boy, he ran a touch wide. He gained a little bit of momentum, but not quite enough. What will Danzo do here? Will he play it fairly? Takes his racing line, as he's entitled to do. Will he move to the left-hand side? He does. Good back marking driving from Mr. Danzo there for the Tengs Tools driver, and he's going to pull to the right-hand side, gets out of the way. That was the best he could have done for Danzo. D Whitehouse, though, is having to deal with a huge heap of traffic. That's Tinny Tortoise and 1805 together. D Whitehouse flashing his lights at the moment to say, come on, get out of the way. And they're still fighting as they go in towards the right-hander. Now, D Whitehouse is losing a heap of time because of what's going on here. Zlatan is closing the gap. D Whitehouse is not going to be pleased because Tinny Tortoise needs to get out of the way, but he's still in front. So, with 2 minutes on the clock, this has just turned into a fight for the race victory. And he's still trying to get past D Whitehouse. He can't get past Tinny Tortoise. They go through the chicane now. And Carter Boy's there as well. It's a traffic jam going through the chicane. I've never seen anything like it. Tinny Tortoise now finally moves over. And D Whitehouse gets past. At the moment, Carter Boy's on the inside for Madfield's. Got to be careful. This is not too wide through here. And sure enough, Zlatan's gone off the roads. Carter Boy's gone off the road into the wall. Where's Haas? He's trying to get past Danzo. Has he got the momentum potentially to get past Carter Boy? He's going to go around the outside of Fordwater, and he does. He gets through. 1 minute 23 on the clock. Carter Boy, do you want this podium full season or not? He's got to get a move on. There's a huge train of cars causing absolute mayhem. They're doing the best to get out of the way. Zlatan there is in second now. He's dropped after being 6/10 behind not more than 40 odd seconds ago. He's now almost 2.5 seconds away from D Whitehouse. There's Haas, who's pulled himself back into contention with all of this. There's still cars they've got to try and get past, including Tinny Tortoise, 1805, Kyonko-chan being another. This is unbelievable. This is going to be the last lap for these drivers as well as we go round into the chicane. Zlatan was very late. He got that all wrong. Where's Haas? Haas has got the momentum. He's going to go round the outside. He should get there before Madfield, and he does. Carter Boy's on the outside now. This is it, the final lap. Carter Boy trying to go round the outside at Madfield. I don't think he's going to make that. He doesn't. Tinny Tortoise is on the grass in front of them. Oh, it's all messy, and Zlatan lost the place because of it. Zlatan moves down to 4th. There's still fighting going on between 1805 and the Zerkotech driver of Kyonko-chan. They're still scrapping really hard for position. They've got to try and get out of the way at some point. Carter Boy's back up to 3rd. Haas is in second. That's Kyonko-chan gone. He's right off the circuit. Cut to the external camera. That was a bit of a dodgy rejoin from Kyonko-chan. I just saw the end of that. And yeah, Zlatan's trying to get past these drivers. They're fighting so hard, and Kyonko-chan's gone off onto the gravel track. But D. Whitehouse, despite the minor scares, despite the minor incidents as someone spins across the finish line, that's Suburtis, funnily enough, doing a donut in celebration. D. Whitehouse takes the pole, had a little mistake, but managed to sort himself out, and he takes the final race win of the season here at Goodwood. Good driving from D. Whitehouse. Carter Boy has nicked second from Haas on the final lap. The champion gets his another podium. Haas is third. Zlatan is fourth. I've got to take a moment for that because that was incredible. Wow. Seamus is in fifth. He comes across line. Good return for him at the final round. Does a nice spin at the end there. Coleman on his return is in sixth. Snav is seventh. So Bertis has already seen the checkered flag. Shadowstalker's now. Tinny Tortoise got his 10th. He got the top 10 in the end. His fans were cheering him as the rest of the CRT boys. But it was D. Whitehouse who takes the final win of the season with NXTGEN, the Power Max Racing sponsored league of the Megane Trophy. D. Whitehouse takes it and takes second in the championship, more importantly. What a race. What a final few laps that was. Unbelievable. The back markers were absolutely scrapping for position. And sure enough, bit of chaos, bit of jeopardy. D. Whitehouse takes that win. Carter Boy finishes his season off with no position off the podium all season. Wow. What a level of consistency he has all season. Well-deserved champion. Third for Haas, once again getting himself back on the podium. Good way to end the season for him. Zlatan was fourth after potentially looking like winning the race at one point and even falling off the track himself. Fifth was Seamus. Good to see him back. He's missed a few races, but he's clearly not lost his touch. Shadowstalker coming ninth as well. What a result that is. Fantastic for Shadowstalker. His best result of the season at the final round. And rounding out the top 10, the debutant from CRT, Tinny Tortoise. I'm sure the boys at CRT will be very happy. And yeah, you can see it in the chat. Well done, Mark. Well done, Tinny Tortoise. Great first race. Really good racing. Really brilliant. And that is it for this season. That is it. Congratulations to all the drivers. They've been absolutely phenomenal all season long. Off the top of my head as well for the championship, fourth place went the way of KZ2 Haas in the end in that championship fight. Next season we will be back in the Meganes. We'll have a whole new set of circuits to go racing at as well. The Meganes will be back, same settings we believe currently. Maybe a couple of regulation changes along the way here at NXTGEN. The new season starts at the 4th of August for the whole of season 18 here with NXTGEN Racing. I assume, going from the calendar, we will be starting season 18 of the Megane Trophy on day 8 of August. I don't know why I said it like that. Day 7 of August. The 7th of August is when the Meganes will be back. So keep an eye out on the channel on social media with NXTGEN, of course. Got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the whole works. We've also got our YouTube channel as well with NXTGEN. You can watch all of the races that have happened in the Megane Trophy this season on my channel on YouTube. That's JackTM53 Synopsis. You can also watch the coverage of Lobby 1 with CJW Racing 2. That was a wonderful championship as well. So thanks to everyone who's watched tonight. I really hope you enjoyed it. It'll be the same thing again next season as always, because we produce some great races in this game. And keep an eye out, and I'll see you very, very soon.